All right. Pardon me for being interrupted because the asshole's still inside, and I'm just going to leave him there because I don't want to hear him bitching outside. Anyways. For those of you with an attention span, about 5 seconds, the goldfish people in the room, um, just know that you are the useless, useful fucking idiots. You're the people who made this country the way it is. Because you vote without thinking about what happened just last week or just last year or just last fucking century. So yeah, when it comes down to, the whole thing about who do I blame for all this shit, it's the voters. Because they sit here and they play into this game of, well, I voted for this person, so they have to do what I tell them. You're a fucking idiot. They don't have to do what you tell them. Just saying. It's one of those shame, shame, only the motherfuckers I'm ringing the bells on are you. Because you sit there and you says, well, I voted. I told them not to do this. So it's not my fault. And I gotta says to you, you told them not to do it. Congratulations. They fucking ignored you. Okay? So, pardon me, I'm just going to tell you the basic stance of it. This country went to shit when people stopped standing up to the government. And when I say stop standing up to the government, I mean roughly around the Whiskey Rebellion, but again, afterwards, every time that there was that system of we stood up to the government came back and stomped the guts out of motherfuckers. And instead of escalating, instead of completely burning the fucking shit down, you said, all right, you know what? No, we're going to go home. Because, no, they're right. Really? If that's the case, then we should have never left Britain. Mind you, I don't think this way. This is not my fucking view on this shit. This is y'all's because this is what you have shown to be the case. What you have personally made the effort towards. You've gone and said, well, I told them not to do this shit. It doesn't fucking matter what you told them because you signed the contract of consent. It doesn't matter what the fuck you say after that shit. Your name is on the ballot. It got dropped in the box. You consent to what the fuck ever may come. Doesn't matter what you write on the ballot. What matters is that ballot went in the box. So whether or not you voted yes or no, or this or that, you're saying, this is my opinion on it. But this piece of paper is my contract of consent. You see, this is where we failed. We thought, oh, well, the pen is mightier than the sword. I don't know about you, but last time I checked, and I'm going to sacrifice a pen to do this, by the by. Knife, not even a sword, by the way, just a knife. This is not even as mighty as the sword, right? Let me see here. I want something to hammer on. Thunder. And yes, that's my old body armor kit that I'm sitting there hammering on. Well, I don't give a shit. I've got others. I'll just use my pocket pen to show you and prove my point. The pen is supposed to be mightier than the sword, right? Really? Mightier than the sword, huh? That's why it's bleeding its guts out all over this fucking piece of plastic. Because that is mightier than the sword. No, it ain't. That's pretty fucking mighty. Put a nice little gouge into the plastic there. No plastic is mightier than steel. Do you understand now? Your bullshit of, oh, well, because I wrote it down, is simply that. It's bullshit. The only person that you're fooling is yourself, because I'm not listening to your crap. I stopped voting back in 2006 when I realized, hey, nobody's listening to my vote anyways. There's too many people for it to even matter. Oh, by the way, this isn't a fucking democracy, it's a republic. So, even though you voted on something because your representative's vote is actually the one that fucking matters, guess what? You didn't vote on shit, you just consented to whatever they say. Do you see how this is working out? I mean, do I need to write this down on a piece of paper for you fuckheads so that you can actually understand it because it's actually written down? Seeing as how you really think that the pen is mightier than the sword. I mean, even though we proved that's not the fucking case here with one hit, one strike, just one. I didn't hit it more than that. Just one time. This pen is no longer in existence. It is garbage. That was quite an expensive pen to be doing that to. In my opinion, because it's a damn good pen. I like these pens. My point remains the fucking same. Only a douche canoe without any kind of understanding of the way that the world really fucking works thinks that that piece of shit is going to stop this from going bang, or this from cutting. Do you understand now, folks, how stupid you've been? When in a world where might makes right, where strength is the only rule, where laws are up to the whimsy of those enforcing them, where people dictate what other people may do. This is not weaker than this. As a matter of fact, it's the other way around, as we've seen, as I've shown you. The pen has no fucking goddamn weight in the wind to the sword. I have been trying to teach people for a couple of decades now. Apparently, as I've mentioned to other folks in passing, and apparently, I need to really say it now. My curse, well, my blessing, if you could call it that, but my curse is knowledge. Knowing So much. I don't want to say everything because I know better than to say everything. That's the curse of knowledge. I know so much. But I can't use half of it. Legally speaking, morally speaking, for the rest of it. And I can't teach it to people. It's not having anything to do with legalities. It just has to do with people listening. Nobody fucking wants to listen to raw and real. So this is literally, it's nothing more than the obituary of the American nation. That's what this is. This is the obituary of humanity. Because y'all thought, oh, well, the leaders know best. Yeah, the leaders know best. That's why we rebelled against them in 1776. The leaders know best. Right? That's why hundreds and hundreds and hundreds upon thousands upon millions have died in the name of freedom. Because leaders know best. Well, if a leader knows best, why are you a follower? Is it because you think that that leader knows better than you do? So you're choosing not to lead yourself? You're not a leader. So you don't know best, do you? Maybe you shouldn't be voting. Because if you don't know what's best, then you shouldn't actually be telling somebody else that you know what's best. See how that works? It's called responsibility. It's something that most human beings have fucking grown to lack lately. It's something that I've personally taken it upon myself to have, even though nobody thinks it's important anymore. Responsibility. You know, that thing where you and your sibling get caught with cookie crumbs on your chin and chest, and your sibling goes, well, I didn't touch it. I didn't go in there and do it. Because they know better. So instead of, I'm going to allow myself to get in trouble so that, I get the least amount of the shit show from it. Instead of facing the music, I'm going to try and deflect. Whereas you, unlike your sibling, stand up and say, yeah, I did it. Because you know you're caught. There's no fucking getting around this. But you also know that it's better if you just fucking own it. That's responsibility. Realizing, hey, yeah, it's not going to get any better. Especially if I fight it. So what I should do is just take my lumps like a man. Or a woman if you're that persuasion, I guess. I don't know. You see, this country went soft years ago when we started going, well, we can't do corporeal punishment anymore. We're not going to allow people to spank their children. You know what? I'm going to say it this way. The best teacher I ever had was something that literally almost brought me within an inch of my life being taken from me. I don't give a fuck about your laws, your politics, or any of that shit anymore. I got stabbed in the chest when I was 25 years old because I would not carry my guns while I was at my brother's house. Don't care no mores. No mores don't care. Honest to God. I'm going to carry my guns. I don't give a fuck who is around me. You're a felon? Oh well. You're a freeman? Great. And? What's your fucking point? Oh, well, you can't have your gun on you around me because I'm a felon, so I'll go to jail. Your problem, not mine. Get the fuck away from me. It's very fucking simple. You voted for our oppression. When I say you voted for our oppression, I mean specifically because you voted, we were oppressed together. Instead of staying your vote and saying, no, this shit is wrong and you know it. And that all the way across the country, by the by. Not just one individual doing it. I mean, I can only control myself, so I do what I can do, but you get my point. Oh, it's okay. We'll vote harder next time. Oppress me harder, Daddy. Do you now understand why I make my own fucking black powder? Yes, that's black powder, by the way. Do you understand why I make my own caps? My own primer explosive? Literally out of scraps. Do you have any idea why I do this shit? I mean, beyond the fact that it's illegal to do it. I mean, completely legal to do that. Beyond all that shit. And so that I'm not tied down by somebody saying, oh, yes, you can buy this box of ammunition, or yes, you can buy this box of primers and reload your own, and this pound of powder, and, do your thing. Oh, yeah, you can purchase this firearm because we did a background check and we say, oh, well, yeah, we'll let them have it. I'm not asking you for fucking permission. We're way past that shit. And if you ask me for forgiveness, I might smack you across the mouth and ask you why. And if you think I'm haughty because I'm doing that, speaking like that way, telling you about this shit this way, if you think that I'm egotistical in any way because of that, why don't you tell us down in the comment section where nobody's going to give a fuck about it anyways? Because the reality of it is, nobody does. Nobody cares. You want reality? You want raw and real? Here's raw and real. This gun is twice as deadly as any cartridge firing firearm, but I can order it in the mail. Why is it twice as deadly? Well, because it's got bullets and it's also got poison. Because that's how that works. It's the nature of the device. It literally has to have in order to operate correctly. Just the nature of the beast. But no, we can't let people have the cartridge firearms, even though we have surgical applications nowadays and actual paramedics that can save lives right then and there from a gunshot wound. I mean, let me put it this way. The gunshot wounds that you would survive from a regular cartridge firearm, you're not surviving from this. The reason being, rancid Crisco. Or rancid gun butter or rancid lube of any kind. Beeswax goes rancid. Yeah, it actually does. This is why it's such a fucking issue for me to sit there and think that, oh, well, yeah, it's, your BS of, in order to have a cartridge utilizing firearm, you need to jump through these extra special background checks and hoops and whatnot. But you could do this at home and we won't bother you because it's under 50 pounds. You can have this sent right to your fucking mailbox. We won't bother you because it's not a modern firearm. You see how where I'm coming from here? It's a matter of the retardation of gun control is that it's in increments. It doesn't work. And even in the sense that you do gun control completely, it doesn't fucking work. Let me put it this way. In the UK, gun ownership outside of certain specific parameters is banned. And I mean completely banned. You can't have a black powder gun. You can't have more powerful than an air gun of a certain type. Okay? Completely banned. Here in the United States, because we're not stupid, even though apparently we are, this isn't banned. My air guns aren't banned, and both of those motherfuckers are damn sure lethal by UK's standards. But you can't have a modern cartridge firearm. Now, in the United States, we have a not really all that big of a gun violence issue, but we'll go with it for now, just for shits and gigglies. But according to their rhetoric and their line of reasoning, the UK shouldn't have any gun violence whatsoever. At all. At fucking all. Meaning that even the unreported violence shouldn't be happening. What is unreported gun violence? Oh yeah, that's just somebody got shot and it didn't get into the news. In other words, gun control is bullshit. Meant to keep you jumping through hoops and playing to a class society, rather than the true intention of the United States of America. I'm speaking to all of you out there. As I said, this is the obituary of our country. You're the reason why I personally won't buy a fucking modern firearm, even though I can pass a background check. It's because I'm not stupid. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going and saying, well, please, Mr. Government, can I please have? Please, may I have some more? You need permission? Really? I understand the whole thing of, hold on, let me go get my wife so she could pull my balls out of her purse, that's understandable because she's your wife. But this shit of, well, hang on a second while I take out my ID. Where'd I put that? It's in the wrong pocket. Take out my ID here so that you can go and do my background check and then tell me that I'm okay and I have permission to purchase something that is my natural born right as an American citizen. Do you not see the fucking agony on my face over your horseshit? I understand why we license people to drive. Sure. You betcha. Because you're more likely to end up destroying entire fucking townships if you don't know how to drive. However, if you shoot yourself in the dick because you thought, oh, well, appendix carry, I see all these other idiots do it, so I'm going to do it. You're the only motherfucker who shot your dick off. So there you go. In case you were wondering why I don't appendix carry, again, I'm not an idiot. There's a reason why, back in the day, holsters sat to the side, pointed away from you, pointed straight down, at a kilter to you person, not at your junk. There's a reason why. And that is because static electricity can discharge powder. Doesn't matter that it's surrounded by a fucking metal casing. You understand that? Do you really get how electricity works? It can pass through shit like that. Right through something that's electrically conductive. Duh. I mean, let's think about it this way. For instance, the SIG P320 debacle that we just fucking witnessed as Americans recently. You gonna carry that motherfucker pointed at your junk? It's your family line, not mine, so mine was already dealt with by eugenics. By people who thought, well, people who are mentally ill, we accuse them of being mentally ill, shouldn't be allowed to reproduce. You see how that fucking goes, right? Yes, I'm competent, and you can see that I'm competent, and you can understand that I'm mentally competent. However, that wasn't always the case. People thought I was crazy because I wasn't vocal. If I was vocal, I told people what they wanted to fucking hear. Because it's a defense mechanism. Now I'm telling you you motherfuckers the truth and you don't want to hear it. Guess what? That's also a defense mechanism. But if you weren't so fucking defensive, you might actually grow as a human being. You might realize, hey, there are actual times when I need to defend myself, defend my good name and my good nature. And there are times when I need to just step back and take it. Just like when I took it on the chin. That's my point. You idiots don't know when the fuck to stop. You poor sods think that, well, I live in America, so I'm free. Well, the fuck you aren't. You are free to think that you're free. You are free to think that you have rights. You are free to think that you have the freedom of speech. But let's be honest with each other. No, the fuck you don't. Beyond buying a black powder gun like I did, you don't have a right to a firearm. If you want to go and have a cartridge shooting gun, one of the ones that uses the little bing bangs that are, gold or silver or gray or, all sorts of little fun in one little package, and that little package makes it so it operates easily, consistently, and has longer longevity, better possibility of survival in a fight. You want to have one of those? Oh, well, you have to jump through all these extra special fucking hoops, and you need to go and, showcase that you are mentally capable and mentally competent, and you understand the difference between right and wrong. But if you've ever before shown that you don't, and say, for instance, you can't get that judge to say, well, okay, well, yeah, I believe that you're a good person and that you are mentally competent. Well, guess what? You still can't buy that firearm. You could have a clean fucking record. You have one little goofball mistake or something, like a traffic ticket that you forgot to pay and then ended up that went to collections, and then that became a fucking bench warrant, and you missed that because you didn't know it existed, and now you've got a fucking felony bench warrant out for your arrest in one state, but you moved to another state, so you don't even know about it. Guess how fucking fast that goes? By the way, felony bench warrant in another state will stop you from being allowed to purchase a firearm in that state that you moved to. Don't know if you knew that. This is why I pay off all my tickets or fight them in court. Mental competence. You have to have it in order to be able to operate a firearm safely. Supposedly. Well, allegedly, no, the fuck you don't. You just need to understand that that gun is an actual dangerous piece of equipment, and it can kill. And it most likely will punch a hole through whatever you point it at. The reason why it can kill is, say, you punch a hole through an artery or something. Well, the bullet isn't what killed you. The gunshot isn't what killed you. The stupidity isn't what killed you. Exsanguination killed you. Lack of oxygen to your brain. This is why I say anybody who advocates for gun control or any kind of gun legislation for that matter is incompetent, because they do not understand the basic laws of physics and biology. How do you think that I was able to hunt for rabbits and coyotes and foxes and pigs with an air gun? No, I didn't shut their brain down. I shot them in the fucking heart and lungs and caused them to exsanguinate. That caused their brain to shut down. It's called being an ethical hunter. Knowing anatomy, where to put that bullet so that it's certain. Not just quick, but certain. Understand now? See, if you shoot someone in the face, did you know that the target of opportunity, the area of which will actually kill somebody by shooting them in the face, is incredibly fucking small? As a matter of fact, that ID I showed you earlier is bigger. It is bigger than the area that will actually kill you if you're shot in the face. You know how I know this? I was shot in the face. It's actually why I have a line on this side and not on this side. This side of my face is paralyzed because I took a bullet in it. Well, a pellet, but you get my point. It's an air gun. And yes, an air gun can kill you. If you shoot somebody here in this triangle, that's it. Because when somebody is looking at you, the apricot, that little tiny part of your brainstem, is in direct line. The only part of a human face that if you shoot it, will kill them. I was shot here. It tracked all the way back this far, smacked into my jaw, cracked my jaw, and then over the next week and a half, floated around behind my jaw and up behind my ear. I actually have videos about me sitting there and talking about getting shot in the face with an air rifle. Had that bullet been here, I'd be dead. Had that bullet gone here, I'd be dead. But because it was here, I lived. Look at that. 2.5 inches. Literally 2.5 inches saved my life. I want you to think about that real good, long, and hard. And then when you go tomorrow to the gun store, I want you to sit down and think to yourself, before you walk in, mind you, just sit in your car, and I want you to think to yourself, what the fuck am I doing here? Am I a slave? Was I born to be a slave? To ask permission? Or do I take it for myself? And if you're going to take it for yourself, then I want you to do something. I want you to take a key, turn that ignition, drive home, and order a black powder gun. Have it sent to your house. It probably will take a couple weeks to get there, or, a week, but you get my drift. And then I want you to work from there and figure out for yourself freedom, actual liberty. Not this horseshit, cockamamie, fucking bullshit ass excuse that you tell yourself so that you can sleep every night. Oh, I pay my taxes, so I'm protected from the big bad governments of the other countries. No, jackass. Our government is there to protect them from us. You've got it backwards. They're not there to protect you from them. They're there to protect them from you. They hate you. They want you to be dead. Act accordingly. Remember, when one side of the government holds power, that is temporary. Very shortly, the other side of the government will hold that same power and they will abuse it in the same fucking methodology, just in a different shred. And they will continue to peel shreds off of that Constitution, which we all hold so dear. And that Bill of Rights that's just been fucking turned into confetti. Because all of you idiots that sit there and say, well, it's my right as an American, it's a Second Amendment right. I have the right to go and to have a gun and to go and buy guns and to go and do, well, do you? Do you really? Are you sure about that? Are you sure it's a right? Because if it's a right, then you don't need permission to exercise it. Lo and behold, freedom of speech. I don't need anybody's fucking permission, just my own, to exercise it. Now, does that mean that YouTube's going to let this fucking video stay up for very long? Probably not. So I would suggest you download it, rip it off the internet, fucking record it on some other device or something. I don't know. But when it all comes down to the real shit situation we are in, you have the ability to open your mouth and speak. And you don't need to ask permission for that. You choose to. Here in the United States, you don't need permission to have or carry weapons. You choose to. You choose to ask for permission. You choose to go and request it. I asked one time as a predilection of courtesy. I will never fucking ask again. I'm a one and done situation sort of person. Fuck me once, shame on me for not seeing you as a bullshitter. Fuck me twice, not gonna happen. It's pretty simple. So, if you can't pull your head far enough out of your ass to be able to wipe the shit out of your eyes so you can see the light of day, then maybe you shouldn't be voting. Maybe you shouldn't have an opinion. And maybe you shouldn't have a gun. Nor should you go out and exercise religion. Maybe you shouldn't have, the ability to have yourself secure in your papers, property, person, and effects. Maybe you should not be secure in your livestock. Maybe you shouldn't have the ability to provide yourself sustenance. Because you're having to ask for permission for something that, honest to God, you can literally make at home. I've shown you this dozens of times. You're asking permission for something you can make at home. This is my point. You do not need permission. You do not need a permit or insurance or all of these extra specials. Sure, there's laws that say that you must. But you know what the difference between the laws and the law is? It's very simple. The actual law is the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Everything that comes after that either conflicts it with it or is in some way, shape, or form otherwise than what is directly outlined within those parameters is unlawful. Legal or not, it is unlawful. And if it's unlawful, then that is a criminal act. This legal shit, it's not a criminal act. It's more often than not, it's just a deviance from accepted demeanor. Not even a misdemeanor, it's a deviance from accepted demeanor. Let me put it this way. I carry it. I walk around with this motherfucker on my hip. Will you be any deader if this was a cartridge firearm and you chose to attack me and I shot you with it? All I ask is that you think. All I ask is that you learn. Because if you're not willing to learn, then I am cursed to know that you are an idiot and to watch you flounder in your idiocy without ever being able to learn anything and me being unable completely to teach you. Like I said, my blessing is my curse. I am blessed with knowledge, and I am cursed to never be able to completely convey it. That's my failing. And that's why the fall of the United States is also my fault. Because I could not teach. Because I could not convey information. Because biases pressed people to ignore me rather than listen. Because they had their own formulated opinions before they ever had a chance to think, well, it's information, it's free. There's no strings attached to it, nothing special about it. Motherfucker's not asking me for money. Maybe there's something there. Now you chose to say, well, if he's not selling something, then he must not be honest. Because he's not selling anything. I mean, let's forget about how contradictory that is, but like I said. Anyways, I want you all to go into the world today and remember what I told you. This is the obituary of our country. She's on life support, boys. The only way that she's going to live is if somebody pulls a fucking miracle out of their ass. It's been nice knowing you.